Yo, 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 you tuning in to the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, with my co-host in the building.
Farmer Poe. Whoa, what's going on now?
You gotta fix your mic. You gotta fix your mic stand, man.
Whoa.
Speaking of whoa, man, what's up with these shorts, bro?
Just a little, you know what I'm saying? Bedazzle.
That's what's up. All right, we finna get into the topics, man.
Bedazzle the people. You know what I'm saying? Dazzling. In case you can't see.
Hey, man.
You
like it, I love it, brother.
know what I'm saying?
You like it, I love it, brother.
Western wear kind of shit.
Okay,
you know
okay. Now, is them custom or?
Custom, no, I bought them like these.
Okay. Well, is it a brand or specific brand or just something you see?
You know what?
Like, yo, I rock with that.
I get a lot of shit. Like I said, I get a lot of shit off of like Instagram and shit now.
Oh, like the boutiques.
No, I find like different like small little brands and shit that that
people that are up and coming, or just mainly boutiques that you follow?
It'd be all kind of different stuff.
Okay.
But these, it was a pair from another company I wanted to get, and then I found these.
Yo,
these came from China.
I definitely would not sleep on Instagram because the wife has been finding some dope stuff for the kids, like on these little Instagram boutiques and especially like retro stuff. So yeah, I would not sleep on the boutiques.
Remember when they used to show you hella shit that you had already seen?
Yeah.
Like now on Instagram, like Facebook is going to show you shit you already seen.
Yeah.
Instagram, every once in a while, you get things that you've seen before.
Yeah, you've seen before.
What they really do put your algorithm into like a lot of the things and stuff that's on my.
Yeah, you can customize your algorithm now.
It be hella just people who making their own clothes and shit like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I actually follow some creative people like that. So yeah, it's real. Bro, we ain't gonna waste no time because I already know people want to know what we got to say about it. But
let's talk about it.
There's so much to talk about with the Diddy trial, but it's more so like the Diddy trial and then like all these other allegations and rumors mixed in, also with his ex bodyguard Gene Deal saying his piece, and just getting into it. Now there's a speculation about his son. Diddy's son, Justin.
Which one? No, because there's been other speculations about another son too.
Well, so you have. Well, let's go down the list. You got the twins,
the girls,
and then you have the other daughter that are the same age as the twins. Then you have Quincy.
I don't think that's possible, right?
Yeah, it is because it was by two. Mom? It was two different women.
But like I said, from the same mom. I don't think.
Yeah. No, it was.
I don't think you get three kids and then two of them just.
Nah. It was the same time Kim Porter was pregnant with the twins, he had got somebody else pregnant.
Right.
And then you had you got Justin, who's up for question right now. And then you have Quincy.
No,
Quincy's I'll be sure's biological son.
How we ain't got confirmation, but that's what everybody think. Look at the hair.
No, that's confirmed.
How they can win?
It's been confirmed.
In the trials?
No, it's been confirmed all of these years. I'll be sure it's been very clear that I'll be sure was Quincy's dad.
Oh, hold on. Quincy is the taller one.
The taller one.
Every time I keep thinking of the light skin, that's
you're thinking of Justin. Yeah. Well, Justin and Quincy do look. They look like Justin and Quincy look more like siblings than any of them.
But I forgot. For a while I had never seen I'll Be Sure's son around him. I seen Justin.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
So I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Quincy. Okay.
Yeah, he basically he basically adopted Quincy or whatever. So then you have the one that looks just like Diddy. He goes by King Combs, but I forget what his biological name is. So they're saying now the internet is saying that Justin looks exactly like one of Diddy's old bodyguards. And I mean, I'll probably put the photo up in the episode so people can see. But the son,
somebody else.
The son, bro, looks just like this dude.
Let me see. Oh yeah, I seen that picture before. That's they say that's Wolf, I think.
Yeah,
that's Wolf.
So it's like
that's
and you know how easy that would be because a lot of times you leave your bodyguard with.
That was his friend too. That Wolf got killed, so that's what Wolf getting killed is what kind of spiraled with the
yeah. Because Gene Dills mentioned Wolf and
that was the dude who got killed out there in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So then that spiraled into the whole Death Row bad boy beef.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, there is that possibility, but I mean, it is kind of. I always think it's crazy when you know, somebody's son look like somebody familiar close to the circle. Like, remember the whole thing with Jim Jones and Cameron, and how Jim Jones' son looks exactly like Cameron? Exactly like Cameron.
Killer.
They said, now
I've seen his son too many times now to be like
Jim Jones' son.
Yeah, his face looked like Jim Jones. Like the structure of his face. That's a Jim Jones.
So what was it? An old picture that they was just?
I don't know. Maybe because like seeing it.
It was the crazy. The photo was crazy though, because it was like a football photo or whatever.
They would never be able to do that. That would never be able to be where your man had his son.
I don't know, bro. Holly Weird is weird like that.
I think Killer stand on too much.
Holly Weird is weird like that, bro. Okay, I'll give you an example of why I just, you can't question. I'm not gonna say you can't question anything, but you got to keep all doors open, bro. So Demetrius Shipp, I think is his name, the dude that played Tupac in the Tupac biopic, right? His dad produced a song for Tupac, and it's one of Tupac's hits. I forget which song it was. He has so many, but think about what I'm saying. The guy that played Tupac, that looks like Tupac, his dad produced for Tupac.
You know what I
think his mom might have been in the mix too.
You know,
and so what was all the comments saying after he said that? Tupac is your dad.
This is what you got to do when you want to know who a kid's parent is, because a person could look like somebody at a different. Go look at the baby pictures of the child at the same. You got to look at the parent and the child at the same ages.
Yeah,
you got to see the parent when they were 7 and the child when they were 7.
Yeah,
compare those pictures because it could look like somebody else. At a different age.
At a different age. But
else.
Dude still look like Tupac.
He do.
Still to this day. Like
he do, but he don't.
Bruh, he looks like
Pac, let's say if he grew his hair out.
Yes, he still looks like Tupac. He still looks like Tupac, bro.
Tupac, baby.
This dude was on All American. He was like on the first 2 seasons of All American, and he played the antagonist in that movie. And when me and Bree would watch it, we was still calling him Tupac. He was like, "Yo, I can't stand Tupac on this show, man." Like, you see, and then there are scenarios.
One time, his nickname was Tupac because he looked like Tupac for a couple. Just like the way he had, like his nose, the shape, his face, the skin, all that. Like
it's just a coincidence.
Like, he looked like
when
Tupac.
you see people that are that close in connection, looking like somebody else, it is kind of like. But then there are scenarios like, remember, everybody was making fun of like when Jay-Z and Beyonce when they first had Blue Ivy. And she was kind of wearing her hair natural, and everybody was saying, man, she kind of looked like Drake's baby picture. We know damn well, right? But at the same time, it's just, it's crazy. It's just, of course, we already know. But, you know, people say things, but it is kind of interesting hearing it now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what if some of these things come out later? Now, is it a coincidence? You know, all these scenarios, it happens to regular people. Well, I mean, think about how many times you went to school with somebody and they said you looked alike. You from 2 different cities and all that other stuff.
I know one of my friends, like he was a really good friend, but we went to 2 different schools on like down the block from each other, and we usually kicked it during summer school because that's one of our schools would be the summer school. That was my partner, and then kind of find out.
He was my brother. No,
like that happened with a lot of us where we'd be like, oh damn, y'all got the same daddy. But our moms are sisters. So I kind of found out like me and him as partners, and then kind of find out you my cousin. Like,
wait, what?
Your mom is my mom's sister.
How y'all didn't know each other that whole time?
Because my mom has 5 or 6 brothers.
Siblings on her dad's side. Yeah, that's usually where it comes from because Pops was out here putting in overtime. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense.
I was, my auntie was like 2 years or 3 years older than me.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was about to be like, wait, how you didn't? The whole time it was your cousin. Now, Gene Deal.
Oh yeah, my man Gene out here listening.
Do you believe? Okay, first of all, do you like what Gene Deal is saying and doing, and do you believe Gene Deal? Because he putting a lot out there, man.
He's never saying anything that's like too much to where it's like, yeah, that happened. But he's coming with a perspective of being there and around to make these types of accusations or even allude to certain things because of what he's seen and been observant to.
Right.
He knows them in a different capacity. I've been watching this Gene for years now.
Yeah.
Almost every Art of Dialogue interview is Gene Deal. And I've seen almost all of them, not all of them. But do I believe him? I can't say I do or don't. Do I think he's a someone who I would lean towards believing more than not? Yeah. And yeah, because it's just a certain amount, it's just too much evidence that leans toward, not even evidence, but accusations, evidence, and all the alike that lean towards like there's somewhere in the middle where some of these things are true. Not everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Not everything is true about Puff, I gotta say, but I think it definitely is true. I'd never, now Gene never talked about the sex trafficking per se. Like, I don't think he's accused him of that stuff, but he
said he wasn't around for.
Yeah, as far as his
but
behavior, he can say he's been around to that.
Okay, let me break something down when they talk about that. What people need to understand when somebody's getting in modern times, when people are getting accused of trafficking, it's not like the movie Taken, y'all.
Yeah, no.
It's not like that. Like, it's not like Liam Neeson is looking for Diddy and all the diddlers and everything like that. That's not the case. When you have somebody cross state lines for intimacy, paid favors, right? That is considered trafficking.
Nigga, if you take a pound of weed from California to another state where weed is illegal,
it's considered trafficking.
That's
now,
meaning you are taking one thing from another place for the purposes.
You buy a gun that's not legal in California from Texas and bring it to California, you could be charged with trafficking.
Trafficking means that whatever it was legal at, it ain't legal over there.
It ain't legal here. Now, here's my thing that I am confused about with the trafficking thing. Who gets charged? Just the person that's paying or the person that's also receiving the money too?
The police,
I haven't looked it up. So for y'all that's listening, y'all can leave that comment. Do both parties get charged or just the person that's...
You would think that a trick and a hoe is going to get both charged, right?
Yeah.
But if the female, the hoe, might not get charged in certain situations if the police is trying to get to the pimp.
Well, we also talking about we also talking about, like, and I say with air quotes, paid escorts, right?
Yeah, but like in a lot of situations and scenarios, the police might not charge the person who's participating.
Well, the reason why it sounds complex when we break it down like that is because it was Diddy, Cassie, and whoever else might be involved bringing people over,
right?
Versus her being the one that's being trafficked. They're bringing people in. They're paying people to bring people in.
It's both of them, not the.
You know what I'm saying?
Not the workers, but
the workers. But the point is it's like she's not being labeled as being trafficked out, to whoever. It's more so like
he's the big fish. They not because she's a victim. I think it's different than a Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, look at it like this: the dude that was basically saying that she was requesting certain things during their sessions. Is he gonna get charged?
Nah, this shit happened too many years ago.
So he's just there for a testimony then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is
so it's past statute of limitations.
Too many years ago.
So
and it's not worth the time and energy and resources. So a lot of, like I said, the big fish is puffy. So whomever is beneath that, they're just using them to be able to get to the big fish, and they might give them a deal.
Well,
that's just how they work.
Yeah, well, because I think that's the only involvement. That's the only reason why Cassie has any involvement, And
it's to build the character. So right now, what they're talking about is like, okay, people are wondering why none of this has nothing to do with what he's charged with, but all they're doing is setting it up to where if it's fact and he's admitting and she's admitting to them participating in these acts, whether they be taboo or not,
right?
These are acts that they are continuously doing and have like a system for this type of activity.
Yeah.
Now, if we bring up evidence of showing that he's also brought people over
state lines
for these activities.
Right.
Now it's gonna be harder for you to say, nah, I didn't do that. You already said you do this type of shit.
Yeah.
And we got evidence to show that you helped other people cross state lines for this activity, whether you knew it was illegal or not.
Right.
We already set you up on this. Like, everybody's thinking it's more about, it's going to talk about, they bringing up Cassie for the violence part.
Uh-huh.
Because they're like, what else does it have?
Well, we got to build. We got a character build.
It shows that he's an aggressive person, the person that's committed to violence, the person that will do many things to get what he wants.
Right.
And then you set up the fact that he is participating in these different types of taboo activities.
Right.
Well, everything is leading up to the play.
I think that, and I said this before on part one, I think everybody's guilty. I definitely think that, like I said before, I think that Diddy is 85% guilty of being nasty. The other 15% is probably guilty of some of the, because when you
doing the devil's work, like was saying, it was a lot of devilish activity.
But he didn't do it by himself. And this is where I think people think got confused with the R. Kelly situation.
The white boy from Sinners? That's the type of shit.
I ain't seen it yet. But what I will say is that when you have, and I made this example in this comparison, birds of feather. There's a lot of truth to that. Birds of feather flock together. There's a lot of truth in that. You're not going to find too many groups of people.
And then the pigeons be with the pigeons.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to find a whole bunch of, you're not going to find a group of people and there's like one that just is not interested in anything that the group has to offer, because eventually either they're going to X themselves out of participating with that group, or the group is going to remove them. You know what I'm saying?
I see the chickens with the chickens.
Yeah.
And then like the turkeys be with the turkeys.
Yeah. And so when I look at it like that, it's like even with the Cassie situation, I feel like everybody is guilty to a certain degree. Just like I feel like she could still be a victim for sure.
Guilty as in like because what the law says, but not. I wouldn't say being freaky deaky. That's on them. That's what they want to do.
Well, that if we're gonna go off of public opinion, which is what people think matters the most, right? You can't say that this dude is nasty by himself.
Yeah, because y'all,
you gotta be nasty with something or someone.
I'm about to talk about it. We're about to get to it.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of y'all grew up on the internet.
Yeah.
Pornhub, X videos, X hamster.
What?
A lot of y'all, the categories on these sites,
bruh said X hamster.
A lot of these categories have increased in their craziness.
Yo.
And then a lot of y'all pre-purchased them little robot dolls. Y'all pre-purchased them. Pocket pussies. Y'all had them. Y'all got them.
Bro, there's a less explicit word you could have used, like Fifi bag, but go ahead.
Whoa, that sounds like some other shit.
Bruh.
The Fifi bag sounds like some Anyways, I've heard of these things. I've never seen these things in real life and reality. I've just heard of them. All I'm saying is, yes, what we heard about him wanting to get another man's stuff.
Baby gravy?
And
moisturized. Yeah, he wanted to be moisturized in male baby gravy.
And moisturized in another man's baby lotion.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about that. That's not my partay. I don't participate or partake in those type of activities. But all I'm saying is the crazy shit that he's into sexually.
That's not against the law.
It's not against the law.
And that's what they're harping on.
Hey,
even a reporter.
Some states though, they say that other shit is illegal.
It was pretty legal where he was at for obvious reasons. But one reporter that was actually at the case or at the trial said that when are we going to start getting to the charges? We keep talking about his personal endeavors and his weird kinks that he's into, but they're not really. And I think because it's almost like people are so excited and gun-ho to finally have the trial started that they're kind of missing the focus.
Well, they exposing them, but they're also, to what I would think would be logical, is that they're setting it up for a character to say, these are the things that we can factually say that whether they agree, despite them being on different sides of the courtroom, they both admittedly participated and factually participated in these type of activities. And so now when we bring forth the sex workers, it's going to be harder for him as the defendant to wiggle out of
wiggle is crazy.
Yeah, wiggling out is crazy.
Yeah, wiggle is crazy, bro.
Wiggling out is crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be harder for him to defend himself.
Harder is crazy, bro.
It's going to be more difficult for him to it is a lot of words in the English language. It's going to be more difficult for him to defend himself against these type of allegations.
Defend himself is crazy. I'm just playing. Yo, this trial is, let me tell you something.
I wish, why we can't. Man.
This trial is so crazy that you can't even talk about anything without it sounding crazy.
Yeah, but I'm mad. I'm mad that we don't get to, like.
You don't get to see the actual.
I do want to be nosy about this one to see this shit.
Like if it was televised.
Yeah.
And well, the only reason why it's not televised is because it's a federal case.
They got the movie coming out,
bro. But the way
it's a movie coming out,
the
OJ one,
bro. The way they're doing him with the drawings, bro.
Yeah, they got that.
They got him. They giving him. Crazy. Hey, they giving him them fairgrounds drawings. You know when you sit down with your girl and they draw a picture of you, bro.
Like the shit you can get in OSAC.
Yeah, bro. Your forehead be hecka big and your eyes be little, bro. Yeah, because everybody was talking about. Like because he's been locked in, like he's full gray and he's probably stressed out, he's skinny or whatever. But it's just like
that's shady.
That the way they drew him, I had to repost it. I was like, y'all, you guys are out of pocket. Who the hell? They even doing Cassie dirty. If you see the way they drawing her, cause she pregnant right now, bruh.
Yeah, I ain't seen.
They got them looking like Acme Hour on the Looney Tunes and stuff like that, bro. That's how they look. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, I think the trial is wild. And my thing with Gene Deal is I'm curious to see if his prediction is going to be right. He thinks that mid-trial Diddy's going to try to take a deal.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard him say that.
My whole thing is what makes him so confident.
Down a deal, though.
That's what I'm saying. But he said Gene Deal saying he might come back and be like, "Hey man, is that deal still on the table?" My question is, I wonder what Diddy has in his possession as far as evidence for him to be confident to plead not guilty to was like 30 charges, right?
All they got to do is get on 1 or 2.
Yeah. And he's pleading not guilty to all.
Yeah, 1 or 2 is he's all in. Like
I think he
will have a smoking gun. What would be his smoking gun? Because he's caught up in this. There's no real smoking gun because they're showing these text messages that say that she was that she's sending him saying that she wants to have the
she's always down for.
But the smoking gun was the video because despite whatever,
what video?
The video that we saw in this last summer. When he was beating her.
Smoking gun for who? For the prosecution?
For the prosecution.
You think so?
For her side because
they had issues with picking jurors because of that, right?
Yeah, because everyone saw it.
Right.
Yeah, but my thing
is they're
showing it in the courtroom already. Yeah, so even if no one saw it before, they're seeing it now.
Yeah.
Right.
But see, the reason why they're doing that is because it's still you still have a pre-existing notion of what you think about that person.
That's what I'm saying.
Prior to the case. So it's like,
what else could they show or have in evidence that would say, he's not guilty of this?
Well, I'm gonna do something unique.
Even if he's not,
I'm gonna do something unique, right? The thing is that when you look at this case and you look at, all of these allegations and stuff like that, you also got to remember what is the most important thing. One of the most important things to the average person. Famous, regular person, what is one of the most important things that you have to protect?
Is children and women.
Your reputation. Not everybody has a woman and children, but you'll always have a reputation no matter who you are, right? And because of what is on hand, bro, you don't know what's going to, like, the things that are already coming out in the case, the people that are already being named. Even before we started recording, when I was like, yeah, this person got named, when I was talking to you about it, he was like, wait, what? So there's so many people already that have been implicated, just as far as in not so much participating, and I think we'll get there, but just, you know, for example, Cassie saying that Nicki Minaj was telling her, I guess told her, man, just, man, whatever, you know what I mean? Do your thing. You could basically climb the ladder and get to the next level doing this stuff. Paraphrasing. But my thing is that we're talking about entertainers, rich and wealthy people, influential people, partying. When we throw parties, us people that got to go to work and, you know, have a regular life, we can still go to the movies. We can still go to the grocery store without being hassled, right? We might have our definition of a wild night. Maybe, man, I drunk too much. Or, man, did you see old girl in the green? She was wilding out. And did you see the homie take her home? And that's a wild night for us within our tax bracket. But when you have millions, and there's NDAs and people got their own security and bodyguards and lawyers and all of this other stuff, and they're protected by whatever label they're at and whoever they're connected to, it's limitless what you might come across if you were able to have access to that vault of secrets.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, they went through his house. They ran through a lot of shit. It ain't too much. He can hide some things, but it don't take that much to get, because all they got to do is not really, the jury is not really too knowledgeable or very well versed in the law. People have a perception of things, right? So I'm saying is,
well, yeah, the jury's gonna base everything off perception, not off law.
It's not too much that
see. That's my point.
What I'm saying is,
you don't know what could come out on the other side.
You don't.
Like, for example, I'll just give you an example, like some great writing for a movie, right? Pretend this is a movie, and then mid-trial, you know, the defense brings out some footage of the actual judge in the case being at a party doing X, Y, and Z. And then that turns into order in the court and blah, 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 blah. All right, we got to go to a recess. We have to retrial or mistrial. You just don't know, because we've seen guilty people get off, or people that we believe were guilty get off.
But we never seen, or I can't remember us seeing anybody of his stature doing what he did on that camera and them get off of something. He's getting something. Like, the video is the smoking.
No, my issue isn't that if he's gonna get any charges or not, or get convicted of anything. My thing is, how many people are gonna go down?
Oh, with him? No, ain't nobody going with him.
Or what does he have in his possession for his defense to literally say not guilty to all of the charges?
It's not happening.
But why say not guilty? See, think about it like this: because a lawyer, just think about.
Can't, like, it's one of those type of things where you got to play the cards you dealt. You can't. He cannot. In his position, sometimes your position dictates what you are capable of doing. The outcome of
that's
your play.
Crazy.
You could be up here.
That's crazy.
And you could be dealt the same cards as somebody down here. The gamble is different. You can't. He can't say or admit to none of that. He can't.
Well, just because you take a deal doesn't necessarily mean you're guilty. You're just trying to get the best odds.
That's not how normal people.
It's just like a settlement, right? Yeah. Let me teach y'all about settlements real quick. When he settled, the next day everybody's like, "Oh, see, he's guilty because he settled." Y'all have to understand something about settlements.
Right.
A lot of people, a lot of companies will settle because it is less money
for sure
for legal fees, court fees, stopping whatever you have to do to continue to make money. It's going to cost you more just to defend yourself.
Yeah, but you could look at it like this. I'm paying off somebody who might have, even people pay people off for saying that they got sexually assaulted, and we don't know about it. He can't admit to nothing that the government came and charged him and accused him of. The government is accusing him of RICO acts and state line shit.
So
I think it's a different gamble.
So now think about it.
Than admitting
that's what makes everything so complex, because everybody's so hyper focused on the freak offs, but you're gonna have to basically take the facts and say, all right, what are the facts of the things that truly happened at these freak offs to where we can convict you? Because but like I said, that's the conversation. This has been the conversation for the past year and a half, bro.
They just got to prove that you paid or had some sort of dealings with people coming across the state line for the.
So if it's that easy, then that means Shannon Sharp in trouble too. If it's just that easy,
it depends on what resources the government like. I think it's a.
I know Shannon's situation is civil, not federal. But the point that I'm making is that when you look at this case, and you look at a couple reporters that are like, man, all y'all keep talking about is baby oil and swimming pools of baby oil and this person, but nobody is saying, hey, he told such and such to fly from here to here for another party, and he Zelled him, or he cash apped him, or he wrote out a check.
If they don't bring that up ever in the trial, then yeah, they
no, if they don't prove it.
No, I'm saying, like,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they can bring it up, but if you can't prove, and they have to prove that through bank statements, because you can't even prove it through cash. Right. You can't even prove it through cash. For sure. But you're going to have to prove that through bank statements. So we don't have all the charges, but you can eliminate that. And then I think there was it a racketeering?
He's the only person on the RICO, which is crazy.
Right. So how conspire
with someone else to
conspire? So yeah. So how do you have a RICO by yourself?
You can't conspire with yourself.
Right.
Hey, look, check it out. We gonna go down here, and to us is gonna go down here.
Yeah. So it's like when you look at some of the charges based off of when you look at some of the charges based off of that, it's like, man, that's beatable.
But it's something going on deeper than that. Ooh. All right, it's a lot of things that are above our pay grade, and for me, I'm thinking that it has to.
We ain't got clearance.
Something else going on. Like, why is it that the government was so invested in what he was doing? If he was really if he was just really getting his shit off and just fucking, I don't see the government being that invested. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you know how this goes, bro. With entertainers, especially with a lot of black ones, you know, there's always a conspiracy theory. Cosby he was about to buy NBC, and so we're gonna shut that down. With who else?
Got them white folks too,
it was some. No, they do get them, but I'm just bringing up the conspiracy theories. Cosby, it was NBC. Hell, even Shannon Sharp people are saying, oh, look, man, they don't mess with you until you get on, you know, you get in that deal. And then now you look at Diddy. Apparently what people's conspiracy theories were at the beginning of all this is he was suing the parent company of Ciroc. Mm-hmm. Now, those are pretty good points, because in all of these different scenarios, you have to remember there are some powerful people involved on the other ends of these deals. Sure. So Bill Cosby wanting to buy NBC, that could be a trigger at some point to say, you know what, we gotta get him up out of here. And the reason why I do slightly believe that could have a part in it, not necessarily the whole thing, is because you mean to tell me, you mean to tell me for 20 to 30 years, you've been getting away with this quietly. Because and the reason why I say quietly is because it wasn't just until a few years ago that people were saying, or even not even a few years ago, freak off has been a term with the past maybe year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Nah, freak offs was
I'm associating it with Diddy.
No, but I think I heard freak offs in the 2000s and shit. I heard that word.
I'm saying associating it with Diddy though.
Yeah. That's the only time I ever heard it.
I only heard the word. I only heard celebrities say Diddy's parties were crazy, but they would say it in a positive context. So you would hear athletes, you hear rappers, actors, yo, them Diddy parties is crazy. Them Diddy parties and crazy. I've heard Diddy that more.
Might have said the word freak off. Someone said freak off years ago.
Probably in a derogatory way towards him. But I've heard in the history of hip hop and entertainment, when they would associate Diddy and his parties, they would say it in more of a like, you have to be there.
Yeah, they type did. Of situation. But when they said freak off, it wasn't a negative connotation. It was like, oh, nigga, it's going down at those type of parties. It was never. I've heard that word. Freak off.
Yeah. I'm not negating. I'm not negating the fact that word didn't start before him. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying
it's more relevant and it's more prevalent with Diddy recently.
Well, they're bringing that up to make that word sound different.
I'm talking about from content creators to news people to people posting about it. That wasn't a word that was always flying around as more common, kind of like cap, right? You know, that's common.
Well, cap is now, but I'm saying I literally used to hear the word freak off being used in reference to Diddy parties when I was a youngster.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the only time I ever heard the word. It was always in reference to
I've
heard
parties. I've heard it outside. I've heard it outside. I've heard it outside of Diddy parties. I don't remember
hearing it in other contexts, but I do remember hearing it in reference to it.
See, I didn't. I heard it more so like more now, but I've always heard of his parties being crazy. Yeah. And that right there was, you know, now like at this point and then looking back, it's like, yo, all these people saying this about this parties and this, that, and the other, it's kind of like.
But also people were saying Diddy's parties were crazy who had not participated in the free offs. He just was a good party thrower. Like, he threw good parties. So the people would be like, his party was crazy. Like, you ever been to a party and some shit ain't go down where you ain't do nothing as far as like no sexual shit, but it was just hella fun and it was just a lot going on to where he was like, man, that shit was
That was
crazy.
my point when we were kind of like, you know, explaining and understanding of using the term freak off. That's how I always heard his parties being described. Right. It's like, oh yeah, it was crazy. This person was there, that person was there. But then now it has a different meaning. It was
like the Hangover movie type crazy.
It has a way different meaning now. And so, you know, you have that.
Deeper meaning is crazy.
Yes, it's definitely crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. But we gonna have plenty of time to keep talking about this because every day some wild stuff is being brought up. Now, I said on part one, which a lot of people are going to disagree with me. It's going to be a lot of women that don't like what I'm saying as well. I don't see anybody in this situation that was involved with these freak offs. That was, as of right now, I don't see too many people that's just 100% victim, wrong place, wrong time, nothing I could do. I do feel like, I feel like security guards, I feel like artists, I feel like Diddy, Cassie, they all were getting something out of it, participating in this, whether it was money, whether it was a promise to get this, or whatever the case it was. I feel like, just what I believe, majority of these people had personal gain that they was hoping to get out of these situations before it got to this point.
I don't see her being a sex slave. I was thinking about that too on the way over here. I was like, but I don't know neither one of them to even know that or have inside knowledge. But
what makes it confusing is like what makes it confusing about this situation is I believe that something happened to her that was not consensual because Diddy was apologetic about certain things, even when he gave the money up. So that is what implicates him that he did something to this girl, right? But when these stories come out and these people talk about it, the thing that throws me off is how quickly people just believe one side and everything that one side is saying. I don't. And the reason why I don't is because as the story goes on, there's going to be more facts that come out. And I've told you this before. Anybody that knows me knows my antennas go up when you tell me a story in the middle of it.
Your antennas ain't up right now, nigga. I don't see them.
They up. They been up, man.
Where?
They up, bro. They invisible. They invisible. My antennas go up. My spidey senses go up. Because I don't like stories from the middle. Tell me the stories from the very beginning of the story. From the very beginning of the story. Don't say, yeah, man, and then they gonna throw a soda at me. Hold on, bruh.
Who are you talking about?
Huh?
I hate when niggas start.
Yeah. And so,
like, he said this, and like, who the fuck is he?
Yeah, we need context. Yeah. So that right there, you know, I wasn't feeling that, but I do think that people that he's wronged, because the more this happens, the more I get pissed off when people say like, oh, now this person want to come out and say something. This person want to come out and say something. This person want to come out and say something. You were selfish back then. If you didn't say nothing back then, whether it's old girl from Danny D. Kane, whether it's Gene Deal and all these people, y'all was getting paid. Y'all had y'all hopes up, so y'all kept y'all mouth shut. Point blank, period. And then now that you feel like it's safe, you want to say something. Well, we have a word for that in society that's not being used anymore.
Bitch ass nigga.
Yeah, there's another word for it.
Diddy came up with a word too.
He called it bitch assness.
Exactly.
Now he's in trouble for bitch assness.
Exactly.
The word is coward.
Bitch ass niggas.
Yeah, coward.
Kind of the same thing.
When you hide behind the truth,
synonymous.
When you hide behind the truth, you're considered a coward. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that everybody is a coward that doesn't speak up or whatever the case is. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in these scenarios where you know somebody is wrong and it's hurting people and you don't speak up, it's literally the definition is being a coward when you don't stand up for something that basically you don't stand up for truth. So security guards, other celebrities, man,
everybody else,
people that was friends with them and stuff like that. You know, Meek Mill coming out saying no Diddy because he's been, I don't even know how to describe it without it not sounding weird. But you have those scenarios and it's just like, there's no way that one person, even parents, right? If there's a group of kids playing in the playroom and something break and a parent go in there and everybody's just standing there and they point at one kid, even your adult mind is gonna be like, that one kid was probably the person that broke it, but y'all was all in here playing and that person got caught with the smoking gun. Y'all all participated in it. And so that's how I see it. Like all y'all, we live in a generation right now where kids get participation trophies, right? It's time for y'all to get y'all trophies. It's time for all of y'all to get y'all participation trophies. We got one champion and participation trophies for the rest of y'all. That's just my perspective and how I see it. Thanks for playing. Yeah. Thanks for playing, man. So I think more people need to get called up to the front of the congregation. They need to get their issue. It shouldn't just be Diddy, because that's what happened with the R. Kelly situation. The minute R. Kelly got locked up, people felt like justice was done. And this, how? He had bodyguards and homies and managers and everybody enabling it and letting it happen. And you know, the worst people out of that R. Kelly situation? The parents. And guess what they got to do? Be on TV. Yep. I ain't seen none of them parents crying. I ain't seen none of them parents super duper upset. You know why? Because deep down in my heart, I think they mad they ain't getting no paper. They was hoping that they was gonna get some paper or they was gonna get some notoriety. But those parents those parents to me were just as sick, if not sicker, than R. Kelly. Because you knowingly brought your children or child around this dude.
About things.
And you post reputation. Not pre-reputation, post-reputation.
You heard about these things and you still brought your
These parents are our age, bro.
That's crazy.
So they seen the tape and everything back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, they had it on Kazaa.
Yeah, so
download that shit.
So for me, that's how I see it, bro. But you know, we gotta move on. We got, you know what, bro? Keyshia Cole took an L. And I'm going to tell you right now where my mind goes. For y'all that don't know, it's a video going around right now of Keyshia Cole performing, and everybody's talking about her whole team need to get fired because while she was performing, her booty pass,
I got questions.
Booty pass was rolling out.
All right. Was it temporary?
What, the booty pass?
Like, was it for like temporary? Like, is she preparing to get the surgery? Like, why would you have the pads?
Well, some people are like, I'm not going to get the surgery. I'll just wear something that got pads in it to make me look like that. You know, like like Halloween when you wear a superhero costume and they got the fake muscles in there and stuff like that. So they have things like that for like booties. You don't remember in high school when they had the infomercial? They got the
thing for the females.
It's just like when girls used to stuff their breasts. But you don't remember, bro, in the early 2000s when we were like in junior high school, you don't remember the commercial that had something called, no, it was after high school. It was like between 05 and 08, right? They had the commercial called Booty Pops.
Nah, I never said.
And girls would, bro, they do. but they would wear like these little spandex things with the little booty things in it, and it would give you cheeks. And the reason why I remember this so vividly, right, is because, you know, commercials would make knockoff beats of whatever song that was hot.
Yeah.
And at the time, they had a knockoff beat of the Black Eyed Peas, and what's old girl's name, the singer in Black Eyed Peas, Fergie.
Fergie.
And the song was a knockoff version of My Humps. So I was cracking up. I used to crack up when I see the commercial. Yeah. So I would laugh at the commercial. But yeah, look it up for y'all young people or whoever. Look up booty pops. Yeah. That was a real thing. But that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like she had on. Here's my main bottom line about Keyshia Cole, bro. I'm not even really getting at her. I actually feel embarrassed for her that happened to her.
Sure. That was all bad.
Hey, shout out to you for not really having a BBL. Because she could have really went all the way and got a BBL.
It's like when an old person got like some toilet paper stuck in there.
Yeah.
They don't know, or like it's just kind of.
It's just like man, and even people in the crowd was like recording.
Not Keyshia.
Yeah, but I just think that it's sad that we're in this climate where a lot of women feel that insecure. They have that much pressure. So if it's not a BBL, it's wearing some pads, or I mean, even what happened to Black China years ago where her implant flipped. Ooh, and they recorded her going into the clinic.
The half moon
you know
pie?
What I'm saying? I was like, bruh. And to me at this point, at this age, the reason why guys like us, bro, could feel bad is because that wasn't requirements for us when we were growing up.
And not now.
None of the girls
care about none of that shit.
We didn't care about it then, for number one, because we never had access to it. But number two, like, our generation was probably the last generation of that natural bodies. But not only that, bro, like we had appreciation for it too. Yeah. And so now you have like the generations behind us, and even some people in our generations falling victim to participating in the surgeries and stuff. I think it's unfortunate, man. I don't like. I'll be one of the first people to tell you, like,
the gap closed.
Yeah,
I ain't like that.
Like certain blemishes are actually more attractive, but they were attractive when we were younger. Like there was certain women that could pull off a gap or a mole or whatever the case. I mean, that was a big thing. I think way back in the day, where a woman would have like a mole on her face, and she would enhance it with makeup because that was like her look.
A little bit of freckles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So shout out to Keyshia Cole. I felt bad about that, man. I felt bad
Keyshia,
about that.
you ain't got to do that, baby girl.
You ain't got to do that. No. You know, you could bounce back from that. Man, that's Yo, before we get out of here, bro, Bossman Delow got caught up, bro. Is it?
All right, talk about Bossman Delow. So who is the dude?
You tell me who he is.
I don't know. I hear the niggas. I hear people names.
Bossman Delow.
He a rapper?
Bossman Delow is a rapper.
Okay.
And he's getting accused by an alleged side dude.
He work at the
dude said
it's a mechanic.
Is it a mechanic?
I think that's professionally what are like.
Professionally, what who do? Yeah,
he might identify as a mechanic.
Okay. Well, this individual basically showed like DM and screenshots, and then let me tell you something about these blog pages, bro. How yo, these blog pages are out of pocket, because then they showed the picture of this individual wearing something that most women would wear.
He was wearing
something that most women would wear.
Indoor sweatsuit.
Yeah,
I mean swimsuit. Nigga.
Yeah,
he was wearing an indoor swimsuit.
Yeah,
the kind that women wear on the inside.
It's not looking good.
Yeah, I mean.
And then now you got the people in the comments saying Delow stand for down low. And
I was gonna ask, because I thought he was a You know, they got rappers for different communities now.
They do. Let me ask you something, bro. We come from a generation where like
that shit was frowned upon.
A man wasn't supposed to tell, right?
Right.
A man ain't, you know, if you got something from a girl that was really private. You can't tell nobody. Can't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? And you wanted to keep that rapport with that girl, right?
It's called not pillow talking.
Yeah, pillow talking, right?
For sure.
Now we live in a time where a lot of women
want to tell what they did.
Are telling, not want to.
No, they're not telling. They're
telling.
It's a difference. It's called exposing.
Yeah, well, it's still telling. It's still pillow talking, but all of the above, right?
Exposed.
But it's a different level
of exposition.
Yeah. It's
expeditiously exposing.
Yeah, it's a different level of exposing when you have somebody that is known and claimed to be straight.
You using a lot of big words, nigga.
And
he trying to get walk a thin line.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you've been known to be straight and you've been known to indulge in one area of the sector,
right?
And somebody from a different sector is saying that's not true. You actually know all colors of the rainbow.
In the heat of the night, you've been sneaking over.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
You been sneaking over there.
You saying you going to sleep at 9:30,
coming back with fairy dust and all kind of glitter.
Bro, the dust is wild, bro. This is crazy work. Oh man,
you left a trail of fairy dust.
Yo, you know, Yo said it was glitter on a coffee cup in the morning.
Yeah.
Yo, so like, the thing that makes these scenarios so dangerous, right, is because when you're a man and you are getting exposed like this is one thing. But what happens when you are a man and this is totally false, but somebody is saying this about you that's coming from the other sector, the glitter sector, I'll say.
You got two choices.
And there's screenshots.
See now that narrowed down your choices.
Hey,
first you had two, but then once you said that,
can I tell you something that makes me laugh?
Only choice you got to do is get the knife and get to work.
I want to tell you something that makes me laugh a whole lot more when I see people get exposed. Okay. Yo Gotti, right? Yo Gotti had the song "Go Down in the DMs," right? Was that Yo Gotti?
Yeah.
The thing, every time I see somebody get exposed, this audio is rent-free in my head on repeat.
Down in the DMs. It's going down.
Yes, that song.
Because they act like they don't know that they in 2025, 2023,
but it's a specific part of the song that is timeless.
Okay, which part?
And it's not even a rhyme. It's just of the beginning of a line. Don't you hate when you get screenshot?
Oh, yeah.
Every time I see somebody get exposed, every time I see somebody get exposed, I need to get that soundbite. I'm gonna ask Yo Gotti, let me use that, all right, bro?
Because you're a file keeper.
Yes,
and that's what, as a file keeper, you always be
don't you hate when you get screenshot? Yo,
because they try to get rid of the evidence.
Hold on,
fast.
Let's go back to this line. He meant that from his heart.
Yeah, because he got screenshotted before.
No, but not only that, right?
Don't you hate when you get screenshot?
He said something that everybody can be related.
Yeah, everybody be like, you know what? Nah, I do hate when screenshots be happening.
Have you ever been in a scenario, bruh,
I do shit
where somebody sent a screenshot to you of something you said where it's like, damn.
Something I said
or did?
Nah, not that I can remember. I do remember being on it one time, and it's the only time that ever happened. Like, I wouldn't even say it was cheating. It was like we was done with each other. But
you was chefing, not cheating.
Yeah, her was. You know what I'm saying? I got accused of hanging out with somebody, and I was like,
you wasn't even hanging out with them, huh?
I was.
Yeah.
But I was like, shit. Nah,
don't you hate when you get screenshot?
She like, let me see your phone. I'm like, shit, I thought I deleted the shit out of my damn phone, nigga. Because I called my cousin. He like, nah, you know what I'm saying, over the speakerphone, everything was good. She like, let me see your phone. I'm like, doom, doom, doom. And like, oh, I ain't been here before. I'm not used to doing it.
Let me tell you something.
I didn't know how to cover my tracks.
Men, women, and private sector people. I want you guys
private sector is crazy.
Yeah. I want you guys to understand that when you are in these situations, there's only one person that could truly save you if they're there.
His Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Today
Terrence Howard on Best Man Part 2, when he grabbed that phone and he broke it on the floor.
Yeah.
You need a Terrence Howard. If you don't have a Terrence Howard or a friend like Terrence Howard in your life, find one if you're going to do the dirt.
Now, when because, you say Terrence Howard, so it's like, when you
seen the Best Man sequel, right?
Yeah, but...
And they was looking up Old Boy's wife, Regina Hall. So, they was like, I need to use your phone. And he just broke the phone, bro.
But
he saved him.
In video games, when you got you can have the 91 Jordan, the 89 Jordan.
Yeah.
You got to specify which Terrence Howard you are talking about because you want the 2024, 2025 Terrence Howard?
The different, yeah.
Or you want the...
Nah, you want the Terrence Howard from that Best Man movie.
From the Best Man, or you want the Terrence Howard from Hustle and Flow. Like, which one you want?
Come on, man.
Yes. Or you want the Terrence Howard from, Sunset Park. Which one?
Bruh.
Which one you want?
Yo, you talking about when he came in with that giant machete?
The nigga was talking about he was about to kill the teacher because he keep making fun of him.
He keep making fun of me, man.
Science is my favorite subject.
Hey, man, that's what you need in your life. Hey, listen,
I didn't know that.
I don't, Bossman Delow. I don't know how
that is a crazy.
For circumstances,
Bossman Delow is crazy.
Circumstances,
it's crazy.
It's not looking good. I would hope that I want to word this in a way.
Crazy.
I hope I hope he can find a way to some truth that will protect his reputation and dignity.
See how niggas got to talk now? Niggas got to talk like a lawyer or like this.
Hey, you got to talk like you know those.
Like you just got out of prison and got the knowledge.
What's the toy? What's the toy?
I am no longer a convict.
Hey, what's the toy with the screen? Man. What's the toy with the screen with the knobs where it has the lead and you got to draw on it? And if you go too far, etch a sketch. We have to etch a sketch talk sometimes, man, because it's like walking through a field of landmines, bro.
Yeah.
Because
you gonna land on something.
Whoa, that's wild. It's crazy.
Nah, your foot is gonna step upon. See?
Yo, hey, you gotta really be Edgar Allan Poe up out here, dog.
Your foot.
You need concepts to your context.
Explosive device.
Hey, you need concepts to your context, bro.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Perfect example.
This is a perfect example, man. It's a challenging. We are in challenging times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Before we get out of here, bro, the thing that is making me laugh about all of this is that Fat Joe and Jadakiss interview.
Yo,
did you see that clip?
Which one? Which clip?
One of the most recent ones where he was like, Jadakiss lost it, and Fat Joe said,
"Oh yeah."
Fat Joe said,
"Some outlandish
I am a professional glizzy eater." And Jada said, "Yo."
Whoa. He said a professional glizzy eater. Like, my nigga, you exposing yourself on TV? I didn't come here for this. Jada was like, I didn't know this was confessionals, nigga. This is not the time for that. We on here talking about sports, hip hop, and fashion.
But this is what I'm saying, bro. Nobody is
Costco's glizzies.
Bro. Nobody is safe, man. Nobody is safe.
Ooh.
Nobody is safe, bro. Nobody is safe, man.
You're right.
Nobody is safe.
Wicked times we living in, people.
Yes, definitely.
It's wicked times.
We finna get up out of here, though, man.
Yeah.
We finna get up out of here. Yeah. You've been tuning in to the No Shit Podcast. Yeah. I am your host, Dizzy D Spill, with my co-host in the building.
Harold. Yes, Harold.
Y'all gotta be careful with how you speak, man. Hey, you gotta be careful with how you speak. Please like, subscribe, follow, turn the notes on the notifications. However you're tuning into the podcast, please turn your notifications on because the algorithm got its own rhythm. And like I said, tune in. Until next time, peace.